final boarding call for all remaining passengers. Please now make your way to the gate. The podcast is about to begin.
Welcome back to our podcast, Let's Talk About Travel. And in this episode, I'm absolutely delighted to have not just a special guest, but our friend Audrey Thompson with me today. And Audrey is the Trade Partnership Manager for Glasgow Airport. But as we go on to talk today, Audrey and I go back a long way. So welcome to the show, Audrey.
Hello. Thank you very much. Lovely to see you as always.
Yes, get roped in. I say Audrey and I go back. How many years do you think it is?
Well, I'm in travel 32 years this year, so probably the best part of 30 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I've been in the industry for 38 years. But I remember meeting you for the first time when you were working for British Midland.
That's correct.
Which is a name, a blast from the past.
Indeed.
Such a lovely airline. And
it was.
So sad that it's not.
Absolutely. I think that was the days where travelling was glamorous, wasn't it?
Yeah. And that's actually interesting. Over the last few episodes in the podcast, we've been talking about, you know, what travel looks like now, and it is very different from what it was back in the day.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're kind of going off at a tangent, but British Midland used to fly, you know, regularly Glasgow to Heathrow.
Yeah.
And you got, even on that small route, you got a proper meal with real knives and forks and glasses and
the afternoon flights, it was scone and afternoon tea, scones and jam and clotted.
I think we need to bring those days back.
Oh, it was lovely.
Because now you get a bottle of water and an oat biscuit.
I know.
And if you're flying on a flight through Glasgow, London somewhere else, it's the same oat biscuit on both flights. So by the time you get to your destination, you're like
fed up with those.
But you can't say no when somebody's giving you something to eat, obviously.
Absolutely.
So yeah, travel has changed dramatically.
It has.
And I don't know if it's changed for the better or not. In some ways, yes. In some ways,
I think it's more accessible for a lot of people. I think that's the difference. I think back then travelling was really expensive in many ways, whereas the low cost airlines have brought that, you know, they've allowed a lot more people to travel, and I think that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, they've been disruptors for sure. When Ryanair, for example, started flying from Scotland, it was Prestwick Stansted and Prestwick Dublin was the routes.
Yeah.
And I still remember their marketing campaign. Now, that must be 30 years ago now, I'm going to say. And their marketing campaign was, forget the buses, forget the trains, for £59, fly Ryanair planes. And that was the praise that paid, because if they came into the agency and somebody asked about it, and as a travel agent, you said the phrase that pays, you got a free ticket. So everybody knew the phrase. And that was really interesting, because in those days, British Airways flew Glasgow Heathrow, and their very cheapest flight at that point, if you booked 6 months in advance and there were so many restrictions, it was £99. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking, that'll never work. £59.
59, I know.
And fast forward now, you can get flights for £29.
Equally, EasyJet are about to celebrate their 30th birthday this year in November. Their very first flight was from Luton into Glasgow.
Oh, was it? I didn't realise that. Right?
Yeah, so that's 30 years in November. And again, that did shake the industry. It really did. I remember it very well. Working for a full service airline at the time, it was...
They were a disruptor.
It was.
Yeah.
It absolutely was. However, today, EasyJet are going from strength to strength, and particularly from Glasgow Airport,
very,
which
very
is great.
Strong out of Glasgow, which is great. So tell us a little bit about your role at Glasgow Airport. What does it involve? What does it look like on a day-to-day basis?
Sure. So as you know, I've worked for airlines and tour operators and ancillary products throughout the industry for many years. So really, I've brought all of those experiences together in this role. My role is basically a relationship marketing role. So I work closely with the airlines in order to bring their message out to the travel trade. Back in those days, it's great actually you've mentioned British Midland, because back in those days, airlines had big sales teams now. They don't, just the resource just isn't as large as it used to be. So really my role is to ensure that when an airline comes into the airport, of course existing as well, but when new routes come in, that I make sure that I get that message out into the travel trade for you to then share with your customers.
Yeah, because I think it's important. I'll take Sun Express as an example. That was a kind of new airline, a Turkish carrier that came in. You know, as a travel agent, we don't know who Sun Express are.
Yep.
So it's really important that we, you know, get to know what the service is like, because customers are interested in stuff like that. They need to know.
I think the great thing about Sun Express is they are actually 35, nearly 36 years old, and it's a joint venture between Lufthansa and Turkish Airlines, as you mentioned. And they just seen a gap in the market many years ago to bring Germans into Turkey. And over the past 5 or so years, they have started to expand into the UK, and we were delighted to welcome them for their first season from April up and through to October for flights from Glasgow to Antalya and Dalaman. The service is doing well. I think we just need to really build that awareness of the product. It is a low-cost carrier.
Having flown with them, it doesn't feel like a low-cost carrier,
it doesn't, and we were lucky enough to actually experience it together for the first time as well. And I've been on board since, and it really doesn't, doesn't feel like that, but it is. And I think if we make sure that people know, it basically sort of make sure that their expectations are met, they know what to expect on board, etc. It is a low-cost carrier, but it's a lovely service.
Very good,
Yeah, absolutely.
And Turkey's a massive market now.
Indeed, and the times are good for which is unusual for Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an afternoon flight out, which is lovely. Coming back, it's sort of 9:55 in the morning. Again, it's early, but it's not too early.
Yeah, and it's not that midnight flight, and which most other carriers are coming back in. When you've got children, it does make a difference, doesn't it?
Indeed. So we've been working hard pushing that this year. It's going well. They're pleased.
And busy airport. Is it a busy season?
Well, for us, summer is naturally the busy season. I was in the terminal yesterday afternoon, and it's the second wave that the terminal was really busy, which is just so good to see. Really, really good. There's so much going on. The airport, there's lots of new places to eat and etc., which is excellent.
Yeah, every time you go through, there seems to be
absolutely
new. Last time I was there a few weeks ago, there was a new Italian
Prima Volo.
Oh, it was nice.
Absolutely,
it's nice.
It's really nice, and I think what's nice about it is set back slightly, and you feel like you're really in a restaurant, which is lovely. They're just currently there's some work going on just now. Just outside of there where Stack and Still was, that's been moved. I'll talk about that in a second. But it will be like an Aperol spritz sort of cocktail area.
Oh, nice.
Just to the side of there, or literally just facing it, but sort of in the main terminal. But the work's all going on just there just now.
It was really nice. We would normally go into the lounge.
Yep.
And we've got 2 lounges at Glasgow.
2 lounges at Glasgow. So we have the Upper Deck lounge, which is our family lounge, where we welcome families. And it's very, the west of Scotland, the people of the west of Scotland absolutely love it. You have 4 drinks in there, plus all your complimentary snacks and food, etc.
It's just a nice place to go away from the busy terminal.
That's it. That, with all of that said, and it absolutely is, and I get why people love it, but I think you there's a lot going on at there. There's a whole transformation piece going on just now. It'll take 10 years in full to complete. But with new owners, just at the end of January, they're heavily investing, and it's looking good. But I think the key thing is the new restaurants. We've moved away from Frankie and Benny's, which was there for many, many years, and upgraded that to the new Sanford's. I had lunch in there yesterday. It was lovely.
Nice.
Very nice. Because, of course, Linda, you have to try it to be able to talk about it.
Absolutely, yes. I know. Well, that was one of the reasons I wanted to try the new Italian, because we were en route to the lounge, and then I was like, do you know what? Let's just
try it.
It's going to be roughly the same price to have dinner or lunch there as it is in the lounge.
Absolutely.
And it was really, really nice. Yeah. And tell us about the Lomond Lounge.
The Lomond Lounge. So the Lomond Lounge is for adults, and it's the more sort of premium lounge, of course. In case we do allow some of our airlines like Lufthansa and KLM, where their business passengers have access to a lounge, and other airports where they have dedicated lounges, we do allow business people flying in business class to use the Lomond Lounge. So there might be the odd child in there. So just to make that very clear, that if you do see a child, that is why. However, 9 times out of 10, it is no children in the Lomond. And again, it's just slight elevated on food and also drinks, choice of drinks.
And the staff are lovely in the Lomond Lounge. Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah.
The staff are great in both lounges.
And talking about lounges, anybody that's flown out of Glasgow will have seen on their way down to the gates this stunning Emirates Lounge.
Indeed.
Oh, it's a different level,
I'm bumming here, but I had lunch in there the other day as well.
I want your job.
Yes, that is over 10 years old now.
I remember it opening.
Absolutely. And it looks as good today as it did then. Emirates they've actually just put down new carpets and changed all the seats and things again. It's beautiful.
Yeah, real premium experience.
Oh my goodness, it certainly is. And that is for business and first class passengers, of course. And they are sort of card holders, frequent flyer card holders.
You can pay to go in if you've got an Emirates ticket, but it's not cheap.
It's not.
But there's a reason for that.
And it's around £120 if you wish to do so, and it can only be done on the day. So if business and first are, completely full, they don't allow that option. But you can do that. It's about £120.
Yeah,
but it's very
so
nice.
Emirates, been in Glasgow, I want to say 22 years.
21 years.
21 years, yeah.
This year, yeah.
And that's been quite a journey for them. You know, tell us what they do and what they offer out of Glasgow.
So we have the A380 comes into Glasgow every single day. The only airport in Scotland that welcomes the A380. And yeah, it's just a phenomenal service. I get, we take tours of agents round to allow them to be on board and experience this. And we work very, very closely with the team at Emirates, particularly at the airport, and also the sales manager as well. But yeah, so it's just great to get on board to actually see first class and what passengers get. It is absolutely phenomenal. Business class, of course, and then economy. And to be honest, you're still blown away with economy, regardless.
Yeah.
Of, yeah, but
it's a good service, isn't it?
It really is. It's very slick. The station manager there has been there since the beginning of the operation.
He's a great guy.
He is, and he runs a very tight operation. It's slick, and it's amazing to watch. The aircraft, and I, I've been lucky enough to be on the tarmac, see the aircraft come in, how come in to stand, and just all these people around the aircraft ready to
make it happen,
get the passengers off, get the cargo off, get the cases off, because you forget there's a lot of cargo involved as well. You think that and these things are all so important to the local economy as well. To there's so many staff there that make that one flight every day happen. It's so important. From that to the chauffeur drive that Emirates offer. So there's so many other companies that are involved in that one aircraft coming in. And that's just that one aircraft. Obviously, all the other airlines
as well.
Emirates
is quite spectacular. If you happen to be driving up the M8 when the flight's coming in, it's
amazing.
Dangerous. Your car nearly goes over the bridge watching it, because it's absolutely stunning to watch this incredible sized aircraft.
Yeah.
And you don't realise how big it is until you see it next to another
everything
aircraft.
Everything else looks like Toy Town.
I know.
And I actually asked the station manager, who's been there for 21 years, the other day, does he still get excited to see it come in and go out? And he said yes, and I get that.
Yeah.
I really, he sees it every day, but he still gets excited.
That's nice.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And you touched on the cargo. People just don't realise, with the airline, what goes on literally behind the scenes, under the belly of that aircraft.
Oh,
there
my
is,
goodness.
The most ridiculous, sports cars, whiskey, salmon.
Yeah.
The salmon that you eat, the fresh salmon that you're eating in Dubai is fresher than what we get in Glasgow because it's all getting exported. So, as you say, for the economy, we're not aware
of everything's sitting ready then to go back on, to go across to Dubai, fish and all of
race
these
horses and
it's really incredible.
I know. I would love to do a behind the scenes with that.
We'll make sure you're on that next tour,
because I think that's absolutely fascinating.
It really is.
And people are always criticising the size of that aircraft and what it's doing to the environment, but what's it doing to our economy as well? It's we should be really grateful that we've got airlines committing to Scotland, and not just Glasgow, but they've got an Edinburgh flight as well. And we're really, really lucky to have that service. And it's changed what we look at for clients. Like before Emirates came on the scene, all our Australia, Asia business all went through either Amsterdam or London. And now probably 80% of our Australia and New Zealand business goes through Emirates. So yeah, and it is great, and it's fully booked every day, which is incredible.
But I think what is great about Glasgow is that we also do offer KLM over Amsterdam to these destinations as well. And I was recently in Schiphol and to do the sort of transiting through, and I couldn't believe how easy it is.
It's very slick, isn't it?
Very slick. Very, very slick. And of course then Lufthansa as well. Believe it or not, the Lufthansa, one of their biggest destinations leaving Glasgow through Frankfurt is over to Australia.
Is it? Well, there you go. Yeah. I've never flown Lufthansa long haul before, but I'm told it's very, very good.
Yeah, they've got a new business class product coming out. I'm sure it's called Allegra. Yes, I did get that right. So yeah, and that's been rolled out just now across their brands. Yeah,
and of course, so it's Glasgow, Frankfurt from Glasgow, and then onward to their worldwide destination network.
So there are so many ways from Glasgow, from your local airport, to get you to the rest of the world. I think that's a really key message that I want to get across today.
Well, a few weeks ago, I saw on social media you did a video on your experience of transiting through Dublin.
Dublin, absolutely.
And I think we forget that is a really good option for customers going to America.
Absolutely. So through Glasgow every day, there's at least 700 passengers that are going on to the US, and they are using Icelandair, they're using British Airways, they're using, of course, Aer Lingus over Dublin. Just at the beginning of June, I went over to Dublin to again walk through how that actually how it actually happens, and the pre-clearance. It's just amazing. So basically, you arrive into Dublin, you transit through, you go to pre-clearance for the US. So basically, what that means is that you clear customs in Dublin.
What a dream.
So when you arrive into the US, you arrive as a domestic passenger, and you go through it. You just walk straight through, and it's very, very slick. And what was really exciting was, having sort of, pre-cleared clearance, and then to be told that I was now on American soil when I was still in
Dublin.
But you really do feel there's US border staff everywhere. Many of them are actually American living in Dublin. But yeah, they are there. It's slick. It's phenomenal. Yeah. And I would highly recommend that for people that, want to make that short journey, stretch their legs again in Dublin, and then on to the US.
Yeah, it's the dream to do the customs in Dublin rather
amazing.
than, because after a long flight, it can be a little bit.
Absolutely.
But I think, there's so many options from Glasgow. Yes, we haven't got the direct flights that we used to have, but hopefully they're going to come back sometime soon.
Yep.
But Iceland Air, what a great offering.
Absolutely.
It's about 70 or 80 years they've been flying, hasn't it?
Yeah, they were 80 years just in July.
Yeah.
Their first flight was actually from Largs. So
The Bay of Fairley, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, so
right here
we'll
in
claim
Ayrshire.
that in Ayrshire, yes.
Absolutely. But from the west of Scotland, 80 years of flying. In fact, I went to Florida back in 2019 and it was Iceland Air that I flew with.
Their business class offering is called Saga Class.
That's right.
They need to do something about that because that puts the younger market off for sure. But the timings are so good on Iceland Air.
Excellent.
And if you look at the map, it's actually a really quick way to get to America because you're going in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Whereas if you're having to transit through London, you're going down to come back up.
Yeah. And of course, you can twin centre that as well and stay in Reykjavik and experience the Blue Lagoon and everything.
The Northern Lights.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so it's a nice way to... I think we really used to push these things. I hate talking about COVID, but pre-COVID we did talk about stopovers and things, but I think we need to bring that back.
I still think we're in survival mode after COVID, though. We're still trying to
absolutely
accept that this is a new norm now, and it's been really hard for airlines to restart routes when they lost so many staff
and aircraft as well. The aircraft, most of the airlines are now starting to take delivery from this year, 2025, and that will roll out over the course of the next 4 or 5 years. But the aircraft are starting to come in, which is great news for us at Glasgow. Yeah, really good news.
We were speaking with Jet2 recently on a podcast, and their success out of Glasgow has just been
phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
I mean, they've got their own terminal at Glasgow.
They do. They do more or less. It's their own terminal. They've got a very sleek operation. The staff have all been there for a long time. They're all very happy, and it shows. No doubt about that. They're really good at. My job really is, like I said earlier, is to support the airlines and helping them get their message out. For the likes of Jet2 and Jet2 Holidays, EasyJet and EasyJet Holidays, TUI, they all have their own sales managers, their own trade team, so I work alongside them and support them when I need to, but of course, I do work closely with them, but they do have the big sales teams. And that's the success of obviously what they do.
Yeah, I don't think people even realise that Glasgow's got 2 terminals. When you tell people they're flying Jet2 to go to Terminal 2, they're like,
where?
But it's kind of just one terminal.
And over the transformation of the airport,
it's happening.
It will, yes, it is. It will take time, but our plan very much is to involve the trade in that, and have you come into the airport and see what's happening to understand what we're trying to achieve, and also to explain to your customers that when they are travelling, they are going to, over the next few years, see a lot of work going on. But I think if people understand why and what the end goal is, they're just basically involve people and make them feel part of the journey.
So my question is the door to nowhere. Now, the listeners, I'm going to put a challenge out for you to find the door to nowhere in Glasgow Airport. It's still there, isn't it? It's not.
Yes, there is a reason that it's there.
It's the funniest thing as you're walking down towards the gates. There is a door, and I challenge you just for fun to walk through it. And you see people doing it, and it's quite. So I hope they keep that, because it's a good bit of fun.
There is a genuine reason that is there. If there was, unfortunately, to be any fire, etc., there's shutters that will come down to the side of there.
Oh, really?
So you need access.
See, I didn't even know that.
To close it off.
Paul and I always walk through the door to nowhere just because you can. So
lots of people have done things. In fact, we've our PR company that we use. They did some tongue in cheek with it quite recently, which was great. So they walked through it, and then they actually walked out to the destination that they were flying to. So A wee bit of tongue in cheek, but there is a genuine reason.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. So every
There
day's
you
a
go.
school day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good point you say about, I think in travel, you've been in travel 38 years, I'm 32 years. You will never know everything because there's always a new airline, there's always a new route, there's always the next up and coming destination, there's always a new hotel opening. We never can know everything.
And you can't stand still.
And you can't stand still. I think that's very important.
So this year, it's been on the media. Glasgow Airport invested very heavily in new scanning machines to make the process
Next gen.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, everybody always jokes about it. Is it shoes on, shoes off, belts on, belts off?
Yeah.
It's all very confusing. And by the time this podcast actually is out,
It might
it's
have changed
again. So we're not even going to waste time talking about that. Just do what you're told on the day.
Yeah.
But they have invested very, very heavily in the best
we have
technology.
Do you know, I was returning from a major London airport and was surprised that I was asked to take my shoes off.
Oh, right, because I thought you didn't have to do that.
Yeah,
now.
it depends on the airport and what they've invested. So
or the staff that day deciding to.
No, I had on just a small, a little ankle sort of sock boot, and I couldn't believe I was asked to take it off. But we've kind of gone a stage further with that. So sometimes your shoes will come up and they'll ask you to. I can't actually remember what it's called, but that you don't have to take your shoes off.
You just have to put your foot into a machine,
and they'll
a lot
check
slicker.
it. But it's very slick, and it certainly is a lot quicker. I think the biggest thing is that you don't have to take your liquids out your bag. We still have the 100ml restriction, but you don't have to take anything out your bag, and I think that really helps. Belts still do need to come off, but it just make it, and also if you've got a laptop and an iPad or whatever, that all stays in your bag, and it's just, I mean, I travel regularly as you do, but there's people that are only travelling once or twice a year, and they get a little bit flustered. Security seems to be the one place that people
get agitated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if taking, sort of taking that one thing out helps. It definitely does. It's all in operation now. I can't tell you how many millions of pounds it costs to install them, but they are absolutely
state of the art.
And
the reality is they'll be changing all the time because things are changing all the time when it comes to what is expected.
That's
and needed at airports.
Yeah.
At the start of the season, it was quite challenging.
Yeah.
So we started recommending to our customers, and I've continued to recommend fast track security.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why I wasn't really recommending it to my customers, because I do it myself because I hate queuing. And that's brilliant. You can do the fast track security.
Priority, sorry. Yeah, no, it's great. It's a great service that's there. And it really is, and I think a lot of people now just want that elevated experience, don't they?
And it's a choice. If you want to pay for it, you do. If you don't, just join the queue.
That's it. And what I would say, we've got the queues right down. There are the odd days that, for whatever reason, it could just be a tech problem, and that they are, unfortunately, those are the days that make the news. Nobody ever talks about the days that it goes smoothly.
But even the days that it makes the news, one of the times during the summer, I was also flying that day, and I waited about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you know, things happen.
That's it.
You know, a scanner could go down. You can't control these things.
Yeah.
And I think people just need to accept the joys of travelling, and it's a privilege to travel. I travelled by train last week, and it was horrific. Mm-hmm. But I've travelled by train down south a few weeks ago, and it was a dream. So you just can't. Hey, you could be sitting in your car, and all of a sudden you hit a traffic jam.
Exactly.
That is what it is.
It is. It's just one of those things. But what's great is a lot of the sales trade teams that are out on the roads, or yourself travelling, etc. as well. I did it myself recently. They're really sort of, when they're travelling, they're saying, fantastic, Audrey, I got from the car park to to airside in 7 minutes, and I did it myself the other week. 7 minutes from
See, I could never
parking.
do 7 minutes because the shopping experience at Glasgow is very good.
No, I mean what I mean is getting into the airport.
All right,
get
because
through security.
once
and
I'm through security, getting from security to the gate,
you knock yourself out. You spend your money in that duty free. Keep me in a job.
But the duty free is brilliant.
It is. There's some great brands in there, isn't there?
Yeah, and I'm sure
Some
that must be
great brands.
quite a full-time job as well, making sure you're keeping up to date with all the brands that they
And what's there, absolutely. I think this Charlotte Tilbury was and that's been there over a year now, but that was the kind of
there's always a queue there.
There is. You've got Mac and Bobby Brown, and
but you're getting your 20% off, so it does make it
absolutely it's excellent.
worth stopping by. So
absolutely.
Yeah, the shopping experience is good. Yeah. We talked about priority security, but another thing that listeners might not know about is the fast track passport control.
Yep.
Which is a great idea.
Absolutely.
How does that work?
So again, you pay for the privilege, but when you land, it's the same. It's just a different priority lane that you go through, and that gets you through to the baggage hall much quicker.
Yeah, so if you want that elevated experience, you go for it. You do hear people moaning about, oh my goodness, the queues at passport. Glasgow Airport don't make the rules. You have to have your passport, checked, and that's we can moan all we like. It's not going to go away. So
it's part of the transformation at the airport. That will probably be one of the key things is to extend that area to make it larger. So,
yeah, I mean, it's one of the things when you're going through security. People turning up at airports isn't a surprise to an airport. They know exactly how many people.
Yeah.
So, but again, it's probably just quite challenging getting the right amount of staff, and every day will look very, very different.
Very different
as well.
That's it.
So yeah. But I'd say all in all, my experience of flying through Glasgow has always been positive, and it's nice to see the transformation. And there's everything from parking your car and going straight through fast track, and it's whatever works for the customer, I guess.
Absolutely. Valet parking, we sort of started to trial it last year. It's worked very well to the point that we've now had to create another 2,000 spaces for valet. It's fully operational yet, but it's not far away. So I can tell you more about that when it happens.
And one of the car parks has been knocked down just now. Is that for valet parking?
Yes.
Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't work out what that was. Yeah. You just think, you're going in Glasgow Airport and you go in and it changes. It's all changed.
Please do, there are loads of new signs, so use them. Every time I'm driving in, I'm really paying attention, looking, because of course, when you're doing it so often, you stop to see the signs, or you actually stop seeing them. But I'm very conscious when I'm driving, just so that if anyone's asking me, I can see
what the experience is.
But they're big and they're bold, so make sure you use them. It is well signposted.
And you can still do drop off at the airport.
Yep, you can. So there's a couple of ways to drop off and pick up. Of course, you can drop right, have the convenience dropping right at the terminal. You pay for that privilege.
Like every airport.
Or the other option is that you can pick up or drop off at our long stay car park. To get to the long stay car park, it takes 10 minutes to walk. And there is a complimentary shuttle bus that goes around the airport. Electric bus, of course. And to use that service, you have 1 hour's free parking.
So there is an option for free?
There is an option.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, and it's complimentary.
Don't think they advertise that enough. That's good.
Yeah, it's something that I'm talking about a lot more. But yeah, I think we do need to advertise it a bit more indeed, absolutely.
So I've got you as a captured audience today. Tell me, or can you tell me, is there any new exciting routes coming to Glasgow?
Yes, there's lots in the pipeline, but I can only tell you what's been announced.
So I need to get you a wine and get you in a weak moment.
So just recently, Wizz Air have announced Milan and Rome for over the winter months.
Oh, great.
Which is great. EasyJet have also just announced Rome as well. Jet2 announced Kos in Greece, which is great, which is new for us at with Jet2, which is excellent.
And some new winter market destinations for short season as well.
Yes.
Vienna, Berlin.
Jet2 have got the Christmas market, which is nice. So lots of city breaks there. But yes, there's a lot going on in the background.
Right, so watch this space then.
Watch this space.
So you're not going to tell us any top secrets?
Can't, no.
How disappointing. I didn't really expect you to, but it was worth asking, in your experience of working, with the airlines, are you seeing any new trends about how customers travel? For us, we're seeing a lot more people going for shorter destinations. Yeah. Are you seeing that as well?
Yeah, although this year I think a lot of agents I've spoken to are saying that people are looking at long haul again. I think Europe has been quite expensive this year. There's no point in denying it. It has been. And people are looking to go that bit further. However, what you say, absolutely. And I personally do this myself. I go away much more often, but for shorter periods.
I like that as well.
And I love it. It's just always something to look forward to. So that definitely is there. I think, I actually really miss, I used to go away for 4 weeks in the summer, but that's when my daughter was at school. So I really, really, really miss that. And I do miss
You should just ask your boss to go to work out overseas.
I know. I do miss having that 2-week break of flying and flopping, but
you can't have it always.
Can't have everything. And I think that certainly for the last couple of years, I've enjoyed those shorter breaks and getting away more often.
Where would you say is your favourite destination?
Well, as you know, Mallorca is my favourite. I absolutely love it. It's short flight, and it's
your second home.
My second home, and it's like being in another world within 2.5 hours. It's great. But the one place that I really want to go back to, I've been lucky enough to travel with work to the Maldives. And that is where I want to go back to.
I know it's interesting because people think the Maldives is like a bucket list destination and it's a once in a lifetime. And again, I was very lucky to go on holiday a couple of years ago now to the Maldives. And when I was there, I was thinking, right, that's me ticked the bucket list. But then when you come back home, you think, oh no, there's more of the Maldives to still explore.
Absolutely.
And it is exactly what it looks like in the brochures.
It is.
It's amazing.
And I think over the last 10 years or so, the resorts, I think it used to be a destination where it was lights out 10 o'clock and there was nothing happening. Whereas there's a lot of resorts now that have sort of got
reacted
more
to the market,
and there's a bit more going on, a bit more of a vibe. So.
And that's one of the things that put me off going to the Maldives for many years was I'm not very good at relaxing. Yeah. And I thought after 2 days I'm going to be so bored. Yeah. But we chose Siam World, which is lovely. Kind of, the busiest. But even since I've been to Siam World, there's another few resorts that I've taken it to a different experience. So obviously you've been to the Maldives and you'd love to go back. Is there anywhere still on Audrey's bucket list that you still want to tick off?
Yeah, I think like Singapore, Hong Kong. I've not been there.
Asia.
I've been to Thailand and a couple of times. Would love to go back there, but I think for where I've not been, Singapore, Hong Kong, that's
right. So that's on the bucket list. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate you taking the time because I know you're really busy and trying to get a time for you to into your busy diary. So thank you for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thanks for joining us on Let's Talk About Travel.